welcome to my kitchen. My name is Tatiana and I'm going to show you how to make bagels with cream cheese. I'm kidding. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really popular Taiwanese street food called, well, in Mandarin it's called bean, but I'm going to translate it into English as an onion flatbread. Basically it's really popular and it's eaten all over Taiwan in restaurants, on the streets, in night markets. And I'm going to make a variation of that today. So first of all, the step you want to do first is to roast some broccoli. I've just cut up half a broccoli crown, really small, and put some olive oil, salt and pepper on top. And now I'm going to throw in my garlic with it. My oven is preheated at 425 degrees. And I'm just going to wrap this garlic head in some foil. We'll put it in the oven to bake for probably about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. You want to keep an eye because the broccoli can burn quickly and you may have to take out the broccoli before the garlic's ready. Okay, so for the flatbread part, it's a little bit tricky. There's a few steps, but once you get the hang of it, it's really easy, and I'll just show you how to do it. So here I have about a cup of flour, and it should make about probably 6 flatbreads. So that's a nice, they're going to be about that big, and so for an appetizer each person will probably have one. And I've got some boiled water from my kettle, and the reason it's boiled is because you want to sort of half cook the flour. So just be careful when you handle it because it's quite hot. And I'm just going to add the water slowly, stirring with my chopsticks, until my flour comes together like a dough. It'll kind of look like a pizza dough, but it doesn't have to rise. And you just want to add a little bit of water at a time until it all comes together. Don't worry about adding too much water because you can add more flour if you've added too much water, but a little bit at a time is just safer. So I'm using the chopsticks because it's much too hot. You can see it's still steaming. And that's probably about the consistency you want. Okay? So I'm just going to set that aside and let it cool down a bit because it's just too hot to handle. Over here, I have some onions that I've chopped up. There's 2 scallions, and I'm going to add to it a little bit of canola oil, probably about a teaspoon. You don't need a lot, you just want the onions to be glistening, so coat it with the oil. And about a teaspoon of salt, because that's our main seasoning. Didn't put any salt in the flour. And cracked black pepper. And you stir that up. So this is going to be embedded into the flatbread, giving it a nice flavor. Okay, now that my dough has cooled off a bit, it's still warm to touch, but it's come together nicely. I just sort of formed it in the bowl, and it can come out on its own. You want a nice surface that's clean where you can put some flour on for the next step. So just divide your dough in half. Then you can probably divide this one in another half, and then half again. Actually no, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So you want it about that big, a little bit bigger than a golf ball, I'd say. Okay, and you're going to smush it down, like that. And when you roll it, you're going to rotate as you roll, just to make sure you can get sort of a nice even circle. If it's not perfect, that's okay, because you'll see you have to do this step again, but with the onions in it. Basically, we're making the onion mixture with the salt and the oil and the pepper to be embedded in the flatbread, giving it a great flavor. And then we're going to top it with the broccoli and the cream cheese mixture, which I'll show you in the next steps. So, just a little bit of, probably about a teaspoonful of the onion mixture, and just spread it around. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. And then you take one edge and you just roll it up like that. Okay? And then you turn it sort of like into a snake shape around itself, and then you tuck the bottom one right under. And you get kind of this perfect little circle, this little package. And you squish it down, and you get another circle. Now some of the onions might ooze out as you roll this one out, but that's okay. It'll still cook up nicely. So this is one of my favorite snacks, and my mom used to make it, or she still does make it a lot at home, but now that I've learned how to do it, I make it a lot too for my husband and I. And my brothers love it too, so it's really a traditional family favorite as well. But we've never had it with cream cheese, so this is a new way of enjoying this flatbread. Okay, so now that you have sort of a circular structure, you can set it aside. And it's not too thick because you don't want it to be really doughy, but it's not too thin because you don't want it to fall apart either. And you just place it on a plate, ready to pan fry. Alright, so I've rolled out my flatbreads, and now I just have a pan with a little bit of canola oil heating at medium. My broccoli is still browning in the oven, but I've just checked on it and it's almost done. You want it to be still green, but on sort of the edges browned, so it's nice and crispy. So, you just put the flatbread right in the pan, and you'll hear sort of this sizzling sound, and it'll just cook. You need about 2 minutes on each side, 2 to 3 minutes. Now, the broccoli's done, and I'll take it out and show you what it looks like, but my garlic's not quite done yet, so I'm going to leave the garlic part in the oven. There's the broccoli, and just sort of throw the garlic back in the oven because it needs to be a little bit more caramelized and a little softened. But you can see the broccoli has little brown bits that taste really nutty, but it's still green for the most part, and that'll be really good. Okay, so I've made up a pile of the onion flatbread. There's still a bit more from the dough, but this is just what I've had so far. And the garlic is all ready. It's nice and soft and smushy and smells really good. And there's the broccoli. It's cooled down a bit, so it's easier to handle. I'm using light Philadelphia cream cheese today, so I have about 3 to 4 tablespoons in this bowl, and I've just kind of stirred it up because it was room temperature, nice and easy and smooth to spread onto the flatbread. I'm going to add to the cream cheese the roasted garlic, and I've already added just a pinch of salt and some black pepper. So now that the garlic's in there, you want to mash it up real good with the cream cheese and give it a taste. And I have a bit of sriracha here. It's sort of this spicy, garlicky hot sauce, just to give it a bit of a kick. Not too much. And make sure that there's enough salt and pepper. That's pretty good. The roasted garlic's really nice. Okay, so here's my flatbread. Now, I kept them warm by keeping them in a 200-degree oven while I was cooking the rest, so that's a good idea to do, because you want to serve this appetizer relatively warm. And then we'll give one a taste. I wonder what my mom will think. I don't think she's ever had this flatbread with cheese on it. But that's why I put the broccoli in, because, you know, broccoli goes well with cheese, so I figured this would be a nice combination. And you just roll that one up too. One toothpick. Okay. Nice that, and then again. There. So you can see the broccoli and the cream cheese and that thin onion flatbread. It's nice and chewy. We'll give this one a taste. Make sure you take the toothpick out. It's really creamy. A bit of nutty flavor from the broccoli, and the flatbread is crunchy on the outside, but really chewy on the inside. Hope you enjoy it.